In this video, you will learn how to install, license, and configure ColorCert software. Before we begin installing, let's take just a moment to make sure that we have everything available that we're going to need. The first thing that we need is the installer itself, and that we can download from the X-Rite website. The second thing that we're going to need is our license. For this, you will have received an email from cclic@xrite.com. And the third thing that we're going to need is an instrument, such as the X-Rite Exact. To get started, you simply double-click the installer to begin the installation process. This is no different than installing any other software. We will go through the installer and click on the appropriate menu options. We want to accept the license. This path is where the software components will be saved. We will want to keep this as it is. That way, everything will work properly. It will take just a moment for this to go through and complete the installation. At this point, we are ready to finish. You will notice there's a checkbox here that says Launch ColorCert. This box by default is checked. What that means is when we click the Finish button, it'll complete the installation and then launch ColorCert. If you have installed any software on your computer that supports the Exact, or whatever instrument you might be using, that's just fine, because in those cases, the driver for the instrument will already be installed. If this is an installation on a computer that doesn't currently have any software that works with your instrument, it might be a good idea to uncheck that and finish the installation. Now, you can go ahead and physically connect your hardware to the computer. The reason I suggest this route is that by installing the software, the drivers for your instrument will be installed on the system. Now you can go ahead and take a moment and connect. If you are using an Exact, such as I am today, you have an option to connect either via USB cable or you can connect via Bluetooth. I thought it might be useful to take a moment and show you how to configure your Exact to use it with Bluetooth. On this workstation, I have not yet set up my instrument to work with Bluetooth, and I have turned Bluetooth off on the computer and on my Exact. This will give me a chance to show you how to turn them on for both cases. I am also running Exact Manager. That's what you see here in the background. Not to confuse anyone, but you do not need to use Exact Manager in order to configure Bluetooth. The only reason I'm doing so at this point is so that I can show you on screen what I'm seeing on my instrument. So you're just going to do this on the instrument itself. To turn Bluetooth on in your Exact instrument, you will find a bar at the bottom of the screen with an upward pointing triangle. I am going to tap on that, and when I do so, it will bring me into Settings. Here you will see an option for Bluetooth. I'm going to tap on this bar. In doing so, will bring me to the Bluetooth screen where I am going to start by clicking the On button. And that will turn Bluetooth on in my device. You will also notice this Begin Pairing Process button. The next thing I need to do is enable Bluetooth on my computer. And for me, the easiest way to do that is to come down to the bottom of my computer to the search window and then enter in Bluetooth. As soon as I do that, the Bluetooth settings will come up. I can then click on it, and you'll notice this toggle switch. It's currently set to off. I will click on that to turn Bluetooth on. You will see immediately these little dots start going across the screen. I will now come back over to the Exact, and I'm going to click on the Begin Pairing Process button. That will cause the Exact to start sending out a signal. You'll see here that my computer has found it. Now I'm going to click on the detected item, and then I will click on the Pair button. In just a moment, my computer should pop up and ask for the pairing code. There it is. You can see on the Exact, the code is default, all lowercase letters. I'm just going to simply enter that in, and then I'm going to click the next button, and we are now connected. So, in this case, I do have my instrument connected, so I am going to go ahead and launch the software. During the installation, it placed the icon on your screen, so I can double-click that to launch ColorCert. Because this is a brand new installation, we need to license it. So as soon as I launch the software, it's going to open up to the license screen. This is where this email comes into play. In this email that you will have received is an activation key. You can see that here. I've circled it. You don't want to use my code because it won't work for you, but you'll have your own code. And what you can do is simply swipe over that and copy it. And then you can just paste that code into the license key field. Once you've done that, we can click the Activate button and the software will launch. Just a couple things I want to point out to you. You should have a license that lasts for at least a year, but in my case, I created a 30-day license to show you this message. As your software gets close to expiration, this message will appear so that you know to take action and never have your software expire. You will also see here that it says device not configured. We are going to take care of that in just a moment. Right below that, it says repository mode local. This means that the software is using local data and is not currently connected to a repository server. Below that it says database, and it says we're connected to a database. In this case, one called export.db. You should see the same thing on your machine. If you will be using ColorCert QA tools, this is where your QA tools data will be saved. Below that, it states that Pantone Live is disabled. We are going to change that in just a moment as well. There are a couple things that we need to do here to finish our configuration. Basically, connect our instrument, and we're going to enable Pantone Live. At the top of the screen, you will see a menu, and we need to click on Window and then Preferences. So again, just a couple things here that we want to set up. The first is our hardware, so I'm going to click on the Devices tab. And you can see there's a couple of options here. Today, I am connected to an Exact, so I am going to click on Exact. And you can see, as soon as I did that, this green bar appeared underneath the word Reconnect. And that tells me that the software did indeed connect to my hardware. So I'm set there. Next, we need to click on the Network tab. And if you look down at the bottom of the screen, there's a section for Pantone Live. And we want to place a check mark in front of the word Enabled. At this point, I can go ahead and click Close. A couple of changes here. You will notice that it is now showing my X-Rite Exact with a green box in front of it, telling me that we're properly connected. You'll notice down at the bottom, on the left-hand side, it shows that we're now connected to Pantone Live. Just one other thing to notice. Over here on the right hand side, it's telling me that my net profile or profile has expired on this instrument. So if that is important to me, which it is, I will want to go in at this point and profile my device. So at this point, we've finished installing the software, we have it licensed, and we have also done our basic configuration, and we are ready to go ahead and begin using ColorCert.